Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Brazil run in Victoria 3. Last episode we became a strong independent Brazil that didn't need no Russia. You can see our customs union here. We haven't really grown the customs union with the exception of Belgium, which is kind of perpetually stuck on low market access, which is why they keep on having revolutions. Notably speaking, we might be able to get something out of that, but Belgium is in our customs union, and other than that, it's just us and our subjects, which includes, the Dutch, or what would be the Dutch East Indies under normal circumstances, but since we have Confederation of the Rhine as our subject, we instead have the Rhinish East Indies, and so that's kind of where we are. Last episode also, Isabel died, and we got this horrible monster who's a bandit, which is a really, really, really bad trait to have if you are doing a low infamy run, as we are. And so we are going to be trying to get out from underneath him. We're going Parliamentary Republic. We should be able to pass this relatively easy. We've been having a hard time passing any law, and so this episode will probably largely be focusing on that, as well as setting up and perhaps acquiring the rest of South America. This is going to be largely our focus. This is kind of our primary goal for the run, but we'll probably see it through to 1 billion GDP in either case, which is either going to be probably the episode after this one. I imagine, although we are now in a spot after getting rid of, our bankruptcy woes, our bankruptcy malice, we're in a spot where we're probably going to crank up construction a little bit. We have been acquiring peasants. We might be a little bit more conservative with the construction than we've been in the past. It really seems that Navy's pretty important now coming into this, and so just having a little bit of a bigger army is not sufficient. And so I think what we're going to do is we're going to look to add quite a bit of Navy to our holdings, as well as we are going to be going macroeconomics. But after that, we might go for some of the naval stuff, see what's not spreading. It looks like destroyers. Oh, destroyers almost researched. We might just pick that up. Yeah, okay, destroyers almost researched, so we're just going to finish that up. We left that kind of incompleted, but macroeconomics is going to be our ahead-of-time tech that we're going for. We are, by the way, going ahead of time on technologies because we have overbuilt the universities. If you look at the amount of, weekly innovation we're getting, the cap for our direct research is 160. We're getting 540 uncapped. The uncapped amount will go into your tech spread, and so this is why we are going to be a little bit aggressive, about making sure that we are researching ahead of time now. That way we can make use of the tech spread amount and have it be useful to us. But Destroyer, 8 weeks, I think we want in on that. And then we can start organizing navies perhaps on the basis of, convoy defenders, convoy raiders, and this sort of thing. Because the Navy, I think once you get into the late game, there's actually some interesting things going on in that. Like if we look at, for example, here, we can see that there are destroyers, which are going to have offense, defense, and convoy escort defense. And then these guys, which are going to have largely the same stats, except more offense and convoy raiding efficiency. And then scout cruisers, which are probably going to be better on the defending ones. But you're going to start having the navies where it becomes interesting. So like the army, after playing with it a bit, I kind of just think this is just like, to some extent, a reskin. There's some nuance, but I think once you kind of figure out the squads, the stuff kind of plays itself, and it just is kind of a lot of clicking. And it's interesting in some regards, but not as interesting as the Navy, I think, because the Navy, you actually are going to want to have different navies for different things, right? I think, at least, in that torpedo boats and destroyers are going to have different intentions. Now, maybe you just want the extra offense defense, but I think that the convoy rating efficiency on the torpedo boats is going to be interesting. The dreadnoughts are just for doing battle, and so I think you're going to want to establish kind of a really large fleet that is your fleet that is going to be primarily interested in sinking other ships and this sort of stuff and chasing around other fleets. And then, you will have raiding fleets, and then you will have defending fleets, and these will all be different. I think that, I guess you were going to go into submarines instead of after torpedo boats, and this is going to be the transition into submarines for the convoy raiding. And you can see very, very little defense. And so you will have highly specialized navies, even if you're not having highly specialized armies. And you will get the escort defense as well here on the carriers. Anyways, Just thought I'd quickly note that we're going to be kind of off and away and just looking for stuff to do. So we get a little bit of a war with Canada joining in, and Canada is actually just very strong, much stronger than you would normally see at Canada. So we're learning a lot about 1.5.10 in regards to, and 1.5.9 and 1.5 in general, I suppose. Why don't we just get 60% enactment chance so we get 100% on every tick? Can't lose, won't lose. But Canada's quite strong, but we have just assigned a bunch of different guys in different spaces and just have them on all defense. Now here, it looks like, nope, they're moving guys over. We're just going to defend. We have no war goals on Canada. We're just very simply trying to reduce the autonomy of the Confederation of the Rhine, and this is all we're trying to do. So we're defending over here with our trench. We're defending here with the trench, although it's not looking so good over here. We got another 10 coming back, and we just have all these defensive armies. We're notably increasing the size of all of our armies quite a bit, and we've sort of bifurcated this grand army out from, the standard pushing army, which is half and half, which I think that we do want to have this flexibility of having like a 100 stack army, because we have a 100 stack navy, and we can do landings. And speaking of this 100 stack navy, we actually can't upgrade to destroyers from monitors, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be slowly swapping out the destroyers. We have 50 monitors right now. We're going to swap 30 of these out into kind of these fleets here, the light ship fleets. These are just kind of defender fleets, and they won't be state-of-the-art, but they'll be something. It takes a really long time for these, to build up, and they currently have monitors, and so we'll just kind of offload to the more defendery-oriented armies, the obsolete ships, as it were, which I think is kind of a good way of things being represented. We'll continue to just do this until we run out of port space. This is maybe not maximally efficient, but maybe it's a little bit of RP. We're not, scuttaging the boats, or whatever we're looking at here. We're supposed to, here, I'm trying to show that if we still have plenty of slots, available to add Navy through a ton of coastline, and so we're not going to get into quite yet sinking ships, and instead, especially because they take so long to build, instead we're going to look to push guys into these sort of defendery fleets, and we might even add, another defendery fleet as we look to offload these into actually having state-of-the-art, because this is the armada we're going to move around to try and fear the squid monster, that we're going to try and move around to catch enemy armies, as well as they're coming in here in particular to do this landing. They don't have anything over here because they've moved everything to defend/push this front, so overall this war should be pretty easy, but it is substantive enough. So this electric company is really servicing us quite nicely in this transition to using a ton of electricity, because we're basically swapping off on everything simultaneously, but it is giving us 5% state construction efficiency on top of the 39% or 34% state construction efficiency, for a total of 39% state construction efficiency when we're producing things, when we're producing those, on top of whatever, regional bonus we might have as a result of construction sectors. So this is up to, what was that, 39 plus, or sorry, 39 plus this 20.1, so it's roughly 60% construction bonus. And while it is a really high construction cost building, we will be able to hopefully get it in pretty quick, and then also be able to push up the PMs. This is especially noteworthy for clothing, because look at our clothing cost. Our basic clothing cost is obscene. This is one of the things that Russia was producing a lot of in our market, and in particular we are on rubber PMs, and so we have deflated, we probably should swap some of these on to prioritizing non-luxury clothing. In fact, we're about to, but because we have been able to use elastics this entire time, because we have really cheap rubber, and so it's a bit of an interesting thing that normally. Yeah, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to start in places where we are producing a lot of clothes, where we do not have local rubber supply. We're going to start rolling back to just producing simple clothing, because the PMs, but we also have so much rubber that rubber's not even expensive, even though we're producing so many tools. And so I'm not sure exactly what the best solution is, but maybe it's export the rubber and swap over the clothes, something like this. So Russia is going to be willing to trade their Patagonian state. I mean, we should have never annexed Argentina before they had colonized everything, but seeing as this is is the soup we're swimming in. Taking a look at Heroland, Heroland's not all that great. This is what we have in it. It does have coal, but overall, more resources here in Patagonia, and there's more arable land, and there's even more stuff already constructed, but most importantly, this is South American, and so we want to fully integrate everything, and so I think we're kind of be okay with this, and then not having to fight the bear. I think this is a little bit of a preferable solution. Heroland's not going to give Russia any sort of extra, access anywhere that they don't already have it, and that cleans things up a little bit for us. And so that'll be pretty nice, cleaning up these borders. So now it's just the UK that's left to fight. And, it's a little bit tempting to try and fight them while they're involved fighting both Egypt and Germany. So if this war pops off, we might declare war on Great Britain. I'm not sure if we want to try and take the states off of them, though, as opposed to trade. They might be amenable to a trade. We do have some sort of weird states here where we have part of a state here, part of a state, these types of things. We know we have a state of which they have a claim for in this one, although this state's fairly good, so we maybe wouldn't want to trade it. Maybe we just want to go for blood. This is how it is sometimes. And we are incorporating this, but it'll be quite a while, so we won't be able to return state on them. They will be more likely and willing to trade this once we do integrate them in a few years, though. So we have a bit of an interesting opportunity here. As you can see, Russia is going to be fighting Great Qing. Russia is a little bit worried because they don't really have that big a mobilization. However, we can help Russia out. We can help our former boyos out. Also another thing to note, since we left Russia's market, pop growth not looking so hot. Since we left Russia's market, Russia's pop growth starting to pop off. Just thought that was a little bit funny / interesting to note. But we are going to run into pop problems, and classically this is the problem we're going to have. Russia has a play against Great Qing. We kind of want to get in on Great Qing, but we are a little bit concerned that we won't actually be able to even land them. But Russia has a front with Great Qing, so this seems like an excellent opportunity to maybe, go and ask for something on Great Qing. When we tried to do it with the UK wasn't willing to give us anything good. Great Qing is willing to give us, anything we would want of Russia's, so we could also do this if we wanted to peel something off of Russia, which is notable. But I have a yearning for Beijing. Beijing is probably the most conquerable state in the game. We just couldn't do it early on, or didn't think that we would be able to get it. You get 20 legitimacy from including head of state and government, and 50 authority, which is really, really, really nice. And so I think we're going to go after Great Qing, unless we can it's a little bit tempting to go for a bankroll, because that'll give us a ton of money for freezies, good dealsies. But I think that it will be better if we go for conquer state, and we go for conquer Beijing. This will be primary war goal. We'll only get 22 infamy, nice, and this will kick us over 25, I believe, but our customs union's not really that well expanded anyways, and so this kind of just gives us a ton of it just gives us a really good chance at getting Beijing. Now, we're not going to be able to slot in the company because we're not going to incorporate it before the end of the game, or even before we have the run. But they have a really good company here, but we will benefit a lot from the Forbidden City, as well as, most importantly, pops. We need souls. They have 16 million souls here. We would really like them. That is kind of what is going to crimp our growth, is population growth, and we can get a ton of migration coming out from Beijing if we just take it, because we accept all of their pops, because we are on, multiculturalism and total separation. And so this is what we're doing, and let's get in there. Finally, we get off of, presidential republic, or sorry, not presidential. We get off the monarchy after 2 bad monarchs, but we get the nice Brazilian flag, and we get this gentleman in office who's notably not a bandit. Not a bandit, so we're not going to have this massive decrease in decay. Now, we do have problems in regards to some of the authority things. So let's rake back some authority. I think we might just continue taxing automobiles because, let's just do this. and then we're also going to stop bolstering the rural folk. Unfortunate that they haven't become demarginalized, but they'll be demarginalized. Ooh, actually they are demarginalized. Perfect. So we'll stop bolstering them. They're also mad at us, so let's stop bolstering them. And now we can make a little bit of choices. We are interested in going Council Republic in the near-ish future. We can't go, suffrage right now. It would really also piss off the Industrialists. The Industrialists are pretty happy with us right now, though, so this isn't going to cause a rev. So we could try, swapping over to universal suffrage via this method. If only we had our anarchist boy back in action, we could do something kind of cool. But since we can't, I think we're going to go universal suffrage here if we can. So let's reform the government. Let's do this. A little bit more legitimate. This also might gain us a little bit... No, it doesn't gain us more authority. This guy's in charge now, though. He's a diplomat. Big nice. He's also a social democrat, which is a pretty good one to have. So I think we should be able to go universal suffrage off the back of this. And this is going to upset people, but it's not going to cause them to rev. Hopefully, the Industrialists are super happy with the change we just made. So hopefully we can actually get an easy law pass instead of just get ground out into nothingness repeatedly. We have 50%, enactment chance. Also, this play is looking like it's actually going to pop off, which is a bit interesting. Or at least they're worried, and this is all they are. And so this is going to be a little bit of a time. We'll have to make sure we try and land in on Beijing as the, car is loud outside. We are running a shortage of automobiles, but not outside. And, this is it. So we have a landing coming in, and we really juiced up this landing squad quite a bit. We have a bunch of recruits coming in. It's not super well organized. Total, it's 50 infantry, 1/3 of this cavalry, and the rest is artillery. This is kind of the plan. This is the ratio, and we've conscripted up 50 units with the exact same ratio, with the idea being that we get to use rapid advance, which is perhaps less important for this particular landing, so maybe we should have used just a big squad with artillery and infantry, because we're looking to punch in, rather than push once we get there, because we have to get through these armies. But it looks like they've pulled off the front for the most part, or in a lot of spots, so we're just going to take a look at if any of these guys have offensive traits. Alcoholic's almost an offensive trait. This guy seems to be one of our better generals, and we're going to have a 2-2 on the advance, in this region, because now it's a 38, and we have better PMs overall, although they are using skirmish infantry, which is, a little bit concerning. This guy has mountain combat expert, which is nice, because there's mountains here, and so we're going to look to push in here now that they've diverted a whole lot over here. Look at all these guys just sitting, waiting for this landing to come in. And you know what we'll do when the landing probably gets there? We're probably just going to send it home, because that is going to be like sending our troops into a wood chipper. Or alternatively, we might just put these guys on the front up here, something like this. But that's a wood chipper right there. I don't think we survive this type of thing. You see 14 skirmish, 30 line. Well, what are they doing? These guys skirmish mostly. I mean, if they have... Oh, man, that's like a 40 stack of irregulars. This is, psychotic, the way that they have their thing set up. I can't tell if we win this or not. I guess maybe we peel off a few battles and see how things look. But overall, we are making a little bit of progress. Well, we do have to be a little bit concerned, because this is the only war goal that is on our side. So this means that we can get a force below 0 relatively easy. So this is a cause for concern. Little game of cat and mouse. We swapped, we canceled the landing and we swapped it down to Suzhou, which is pulling all these troops down here. The whole idea behind swapping to Suzhou is, of course, it's a different strategic region, and so they have to move the guys, or, we'll just get in there for free. But now they're really far from this front. We might peel off one battle to see what it looks like, but if the battle doesn't look good, we're going to cancel this landing and just move these guys back up to this front all the way up here. I think we're going to mobilize and use our other lancers here, who can borrow troops, but they notably get to use the rapid advance, and we're just going to stick them in on this front and hope that they borrow troops effectively, a bunch of cannons and artillery rather than cavalry, because cavalry has booty stats. But this is going to be, well, we might even leave this in if we just get stuck in a naval landing forever, because these guys are just all occupied resisting us here, and this is kind of freeing this up here. So our landing was getting a little bit of tough battles, so we repositioned it yet again, going for Beijing again, and this kind of just scattered all the troops to the winds. I guess they didn't know how to redeploy, and it looks like we're going to get in a pretty good landing spot here. This is looking a little bit juicy, and so, you know, I assume they're going to start funneling in maybe more guys, and maybe this landing doesn't succeed, but they're going to have to commit to either defending up here or defending down here, or perhaps they commit to one and it doesn't even matter because it's not tenable, but this is going to be making progress, hopefully. And if nothing, looks like the boys are coming back. The boys are coming back in town, but now the push is happening through here, so things are looking bad for China. So we got a really unfortunate front split that unassigned this 100 stack from this northern portion, which is like almost the entire portion, right? And so now it's looking a little bit grim on our, you know, chances of being able to enforce here, which is like... It feels so crazy, like, because it felt so good, and then now Russia's, like, you know, Russia's in terrible shape. They want a white peace. We don't want a white peace, though. And, you know, obviously they have a little bit more troops here, so they can kind of stomach this. I think we might try and scatter them to the winds again here. But the guy unassigning from the front really was quite damaging for us. The 100 stack assigned over here, they started traveling over there before we noticed it, or the loud car outside. How could you not notice that? I think what we'll do here, though, is we'll cancel this landing again. Well, maybe we'll see what the next roll looks like in terms of the battle, and if it doesn't look very good, we will cancel and retry. I mean, we do have a chance of pushing in here. It's just like it feels a little bit slow, and like Russia is like kind of getting enforced down, and we haven't got in on Beijing. It just feels a little bit bad here. Namely, like the naval battles take forever to like go down, and so landing takes forever to do, and so like we just started getting our landing battles and Russia's already in the negative, and like this doesn't seem quite correct. They are making progress over here into Cochin, but they're probably not gonna get it, and we have to try and I don't know what. This is a little bit frustrating. We're still waiting for another battle to hit, right? But we have to wait like several ticks worth of Russia ticking down between battles, and it just seems like it's not enough time. We have another navy coming in case we want to try and do some multi-landing shenanigans, but like we're just still waiting on another battle here, and I don't know, like, landings, like, if the landing doesn't get in instantly and you don't, like, in this case, they don't have a war goal on us that allows us to get stall out at 0, so this basically just means, like, here, let's see what this one looks like. I mean, are we looking good in this one? No, we're kind of looking bad. We only have 19% progress, so we're going to cancel the landing, and we're going to try and push it down lower in Suzhou. With this guy again. It's only 3 days, little bob and weave. See if we can get these guys to scatter again, and then maybe we could try for Beijing, but it's not going to work for going for Beijing either, right? Because they'll have enough time, because it takes so long between naval battles that they'll have enough time to like reorganize and get to the front that they need to be on. God, this is like so miserable. I think Russia's going to get enforced out before we do, right? And then we'll be stuck in here with Qing. And we'll be able to see what we can do. I mean, if we can get a front here down in Suzhou, this would be fantastic. And the 100 stack, now that it's back here, is actually able to push, but yeah, I don't know what to make of this. So Russia immediately dips after enforcing on them, which completely breaks all the progress we pushed in the Great Qing. I don't know what to say. This is kind of a frustrating war that's just happened here. We're going to try and land with this 100 stack, though. So we're going to cancel this landing. But like, I think there's about no way that the 100 stack can get in. We can try it, but I just don't think it's possible. They're ticking on us relatively slow. We're going to continue to kind of try and make moves. So we're going to cancel this naval invasion here and try and land down here. But I feel like our army is like big enough and our navy is big enough that we should actually be able to get something done. And so it's a little frustrating that we can't. We're still obviously getting used to like 1.5 military and this sort of thing, but this seems a little bit like... I mean, also, like, we had, like, a front in here that was pretty deeply advanced, and then it completely gets reset because Russia leaves the war, which is just, like, diplomacy, like, strangeness. Are they trying to land us? We saw some failed naval invasion type things, but, like, I don't know. it's also going to take forever for these guys to get here because they're traveling all the way around through here instead of like, okay, well, I guess they shouldn't get to go through the enemy. But like we are getting ticked down 2.5 a tick, and there's not much, like, I don't know what to say. This is a little bit frustrating. I mean, I guess we're just getting punished and we deserve it or something like this. It's just like we have like huge naval superiority, and then like it takes Russia gets enforced down to 100 before we can actually try and land. And to be fair, we shuffled back and forth a little bit, but it wasn't tremendous, and we already had the Navy there at the very start, and we like the instant the play started, we tried to get in there, and then this isn't going to be enough. They have too much defense. And so like this is just never going to work. And Russia just leaves immediately. God, this is so insipid. So we are ticking down about 2.5. We had a tick around, I think it was just under 50 when the first battle for us to get in started, and we haven't gotten another tick for another battle to get in. And like this seems like a little bit slow, especially considering we get caught on their navy for quite a long time for when we're trying to get in there initially. Like Russia was already forced down to 0 by the time we get the first one in, and then like at 79, so like 30 enforcement. So what is this like in terms of ticks? If it's 30 enforcement and it's 4, it's like 12 ticks later, like we get a second battle, and it's like it doesn't even matter that we have more offense here, right? Or that like it looks like we could potentially land here. If we only get to do like 3 landing attempts, you know, in the amount of time that this spans, then like there's like nothing to be done. It is like not even like they're enforcing on us quick either. Like this is a slow one, and we need to fully occupy the state in order to do this. Like our only hope is that like we get in like relatively well. I guess we could make a little bit of an adjustment. These guys should all be on offense for the extra offense. And so like, okay, we make a little bit of an error here, but like this guy gets in at like 280, and then the battle's gonna take like another forever, and there's just like not enough time to like try and do anything that requires a naval invasion. Like really, just anything requiring going overseas now is just incredibly difficult. And to be fair, we don't have landing craft. You know, we could have this tech, and we don't have this tech. Oh, just kidding. Oh, wait, yeah, we don't have landing craft. So maybe this is a mistake to, like, maybe we should just not be thinking about this in the way. But we are not going to even get to finish this second battle, you know, in the time since Russia got enforced, where we were on minus 30. We don't get to do a single second battle. We get to do 2 battles. We win one, we lose one, we get 25% landing progress. And this just, I don't know. This, like, is very... I'm a bit frustrated right now, as you guys can tell, and like I'm not paying attention to stuff that like maybe I should. Like we should probably be doing that, and there's like this huge money deficit, which kind of doesn't really matter because we could just increase taxes and whatever, and still be this level of legitimacy. But this is just like super rough. We haven't had a single like. We just need I mean, maybe we shouldn't be able to land China. Maybe this is like a thing, and like we're just living in a new world, and we haven't made an adjustment to it. Because we were able to land like the Confederacy of the Rhine, but the reason we were able to land the Confederation of the Rhine is because they left all their troops away. Like it wasn't like we like actually got in, and then like we were able to land California, but that's because the U.S. left it undefended. Whenever someone actually is defending it, it just takes forever because you have to get through their navy. And then you have to get through like a million battles, and then like if you lose a battle, it's really rough. Even if we won both the battles, immediately starting landing after being 30 like enforcement, like yeah, we were like at a 30 tick enforcement level. Also, just like the enforce below 0 and just automatic enforcement thing is like probably silly too. But like. We just wanted Beijing, man. We just wanted a vibe. Although I guess we're gonna get to see what our refund looks like here, because we're gonna get enforced on. We're at 27 infamy right now. We're not gonna get our 22.5 infamy war goal, so we'll get to see exactly how much of a reimbursement we get, and we see that we get reimbursed like 9, so like half, or well, I guess we got reimbursed about half. So like, okay, so we just ate the 10 infamy for no reason. A bit grim. I don't know. I feel like, Yeah, I feel like between us and Russia, like if you look at their Navy power projections, 1,400, their Army power projections, like 10K. Ours is, 15K here, and our Navy power projections, 8K. So, and then on top of that, we also had Russia with us, who has 7K, and then 4K. I feel like we should have been able to win that, and that we couldn't I don't know. So the Open Arms event is just super strong. It just gives you permanent 25% migration attraction. In order to trigger this, we triggered it because we have multiculturalism, open borders, total separation, and the one we just got, which was universal suffrage, so we get come one, come all. This is a very, very strong modifier. Hopefully it'll allow us to kind of pick up on the migration a little bit more. We can take a look at our clout, post, we need to have an election, but we did get universal suffrage, so after next election, are expecting to see a ton more clout for the trade unionists and the rural folk, but we haven't gotten it in yet. I think that maybe we just wait so that we can try and go. That's a little bit rough. Council Republic. To be fair, our GDP hasn't come up enough for this to really totally make sense, and so maybe we'll just kind of chill with what we got for a while. We kind of have everything that we want, really, in terms of laws. I guess we can kind of move up the chain on port. Oh, no, wait, we don't. We totally don't. We just desperately need, like, graduated taxation. The thing is, this will rev the industrialists now. They're fairly likely to join the Rev. Maybe we let them chill for a little bit and then go for graduated taxation, but we would greatly prefer graduated taxation. We've been stuck on per capita for so long that we forgot we were on it. So yeah, this is maybe the next law pass, but I think we're going to chill and let them simmer over the fact that we passed a law that they don't like very much. We have a -20 here, a -12 here, so it'll actually stay the same for quite a while. So maybe we just want to try and pass it anyways. The problem is we can't afford them to rev. What we would love is to change this guy's ideology. So let's actually take... God. Having no agitator slots here is kind of frustrating. Let's see, even if we had an agitator slot, can we do anything about this guy? And I'm guessing we could. Yeah, so we have a Republican who would be more happy with kind of some of the law passes we've just made relative to the positivist. If there was a radical, they would really, really like kind of what we've just done. But the Republicans, specifically, we would love to get them in government. So, we could exile this positivist and hope to high roll. That's one thing we could do, and then try and pass our law. Or we could, promote someone to override the Social Democrat, which is maybe something we could do. Or we could exile one of these guys. Wait, our brain is just not working. We could exile this guy, I suppose. He's got literary, though. Literary is so good. Not that it's going to really matter. We could exile this guy, invite the industrialist agitator, promote him to government. Yeah, maybe we do that. I think we're going to conclude the episode here. This entire run has been kind of a lesson in navies, as they have changed quite a lot. And actually, they're actually important now. And also, I think you just can't really do anything overseas really that well. Like, we couldn't do anything against the USA because we couldn't get in on them, like, overseas. But similarly, people can't really get in on us overseas very easily, and it seems like maybe you just need an insurmountable advantage. Maybe you just can't, like, think about doing it without landing craft. I mean, it does take so ungodly long to try and perform a landing, and so this Qing thing, like, I don't think that should have necessarily shook out that way, given, like, both the balance of power and, like, the situation, the fact that Russia gets enforced out, and, like, they didn't even get zeroed and forced out. It was kind of a little bit frustrating. Now they're antagonistic. They're mad that we helped them, they would have never took that little strip of cotton without us, but here we are. Anyways, we also, this episode, I think more importantly, we became a republic, so we got the nice green color here, the classic, Brazilian green, along with, the more classic Brazilian flag, or at least the modern flag, I suppose. I guess it's really the opposite of classic flag, but we're well on our way. I think we're continuing on. We did get Russia out of the way in terms of getting South American states back, so now all that remains is kind of annexing the Confederation of the Rhine, with whom we have a truce until 24 months left, so that's 2 years, and also getting back the dirt from Great Britain. And so we're really, really close here to kind of the main objective. Also, regarding the secondary of maybe going up to 1 billion GDP, we added like close to what is this, like 40%? We started around 220, I think, 230 billion GDP, and now we're at 320. And so we've added quite a bit of GDP as well. SOL's coming on up. Pop stalled out a little bit during this episode, but it's starting to crank up a little bit. I think it's mainly because we're starting to get a lot of migration, and we should get quite a lot more now that we got the modifier of teeming shores on a permanent basis. You know, we will have pretty high attraction. This is what I think we got a mass migration. Yeah, we got a mass migration to Bahia, and we are also kind of getting people employed up, really expanded the military quite a bit this episode, you know, to try and do that war with China, and like just turned out pretty badly. I don't know. This is well, next time we'll have a landing craft for whatever we need, although I don't think we'll need it. Just like actually I think we've had 3 really bricked wars. No, maybe it's 2 with Great Qing and USA, but for considerable war goals, so that we accrue considerable infamy. Like, it would have been much better if we just annexed Persia. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and have a good day.